Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Off the Air Production and our flagship show, The Voiced Opinion. My name is JSB himself, and I am your host for this night of goofs and gaffs. I am joined by the lovely Ben Kaysen and the pure awesome Jacob Sandoval. Folks, how you guys doing?
I'm good, man. I'm doing great because I am indeed pure awesome.
I thought you deserved an upgrade from fearful, you know?
Yes,
Debatable.
yes. Come on, Ben. Come on.
Debatable. I'm not
so
I'm not
hard
gonna-
on him.
yeah, I'm just saying it's debatable.
Scared.
Ben, I'm out here trying to do my best. I can't go to Facebook and post an inspirational fitness post and get 70 likes like you. I can't do it, Ben.
You're right. You can't do that. That's
This
me.
podcast is all I got, and my intro is all I got.
I'm sorry to.
We all
assault
want to
your
be like
livelihood.
Ben someday.
Oh, yeah. We all do.
That's a no for me, dog.
Oh.
What about you, Ben? What's new in your life, my friend? Anything exciting?
Oh yeah, dude. You know what it's like. We're getting really close to Major League Baseball season starting. We're about 3 weeks away from first pitch. So this is the time where me, as a giant baseball fan, I'm just ramping up. I'm getting excited. I'm calling more baseball games. Today, I got to sit down and watch about 6 innings of Rangers baseball. I'm feeling really clear-headed, really good to go, having a lot of fun.
Yeah, but tell them what happened to the Rangers in those 6 innings.
I'll pass. Pass.
Yeah, pass the rock.
Rest in peace.
We got no hit through 6 innings, the 6 innings I watched, but it's okay because it's spring training games. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, don't matter.
Speaking of getting bad numbers, you guys heard of the coronavirus?
No.
Oh.
I have heard of the coronavirus.
This is crazy because I know there's been several different outbreaks since I've been alive, but this is the first one that I'm actually like really paying attention to and following. Like I've been watching news about it all day and trying to look at infection maps, seeing how it spread, where it came from. And it is so interesting. I don't know why I find it so interesting, but it's got my attention just watching this disease spread and affect all these people and trying to learn what these people are trying to do to stop it. I don't know. I think it's super interesting. What do you guys take on it so far?
Well, first off, I would say, this is definitely a very serious situation when it comes to specifically elderly or people who are already sick whenever they could get this affliction. There's a lot of people who've already died as well. It's not good that this is going around. It is interesting, though. And it's leading to a lot of interesting responses from people. I think that the problem with it is that, when it comes to a disease or a virus in this case or something like that, it's really, really hard to contain because when people come and, they do whatever they want to do, like they're not going to just go home, go to work and come back. If somebody has it, there's a good chance that they will infect a whole bunch of other people as well. The thing is, once you contain it, and then if somebody actually gets out and has an outbreak, you have to contain all those people once again and who they talk to. It's just basically impossible to contain at some point. So it's definitely a little bit scary, I think. But it's a thing.
Yeah, it sure is. It's scary.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a combination of being interested, being kind of fearful, but then also going on TikTok and seeing the memes and kind of giggling a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things like, it's a serious topic and you're kind of scared, but at the same time, it's okay to laugh at it a little bit because you never know. Maybe it'll just blow over in the next couple of weeks. They find a magical cure and it's okay and it's all over, or it continues for generations to come. It's scary. We don't know what's going to happen. Toss of a coin, guys. Toss of a coin.
So one of the things that I found really interesting is learning where it came from. Now, we know it happened in Wuhan, China, and that led to the whole isolation and quarantine of that entire city, which has, I think, more than 1 million people living in it.
Yeah, it has
if I'm not
11
mistaken.
million people in it. I was looking this up. It's like almost 1.5 times as big as New York City, and most Americans have never even heard of it. That's how many people live in that city.
That is so insane. But it's crazy learning that it came from this market, right? Where all these animals are sold, and they're not like normal food animals market. It's like weird bats, armadillos.
Are you saying bats aren't normal food?
Bears? No, I don't think it is.
Dude, I'd eat a bat.
Interesting.
You're the reason we have coronavirus.
Maybe so. But yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's super scary. It's interesting that China is now like trying to ban and block them from actually happening. So they're trying to shut them all down. But I really doubt that they're going to keep with that, because this has been a big part of the Chinese economy for a long time. And from what I've seen, most of the people buying from these weird markets are rich people, wealthy people, because these animals go for a higher value. It's really weird.
That is weird. So like they think that it actually started in that market. That's what they've decided.
Yeah. From everything I've seen, they think it came from a bat. Well, they know it came from a bat. It's a disease originally in bats, but somehow they made the jump from the bat to the person, and then the person just spread it like wildfire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting.
And then we see the infections all around the country. Italy is doing a full quarantine of the whole entire country. The United States has just started getting them now, and it's getting worse and worse. I think we're at 17 deaths in the United States, which is pretty alarming, to be honest. Most of them did come from a nursing home, where, of course, like Ben mentioned, the weakest people, like the elderly and the people with conditions, are most susceptible to it and will, most easily die. But it was crazy with all how the government was acting so like confident that this wasn't going to be a big deal, and now it's spreading like wildfire. What do you think America could have done better to prepare for this virus?
Go for it.
Who do you want to go first? Me or
you? You got it.
All right. So for me, I think especially when it comes to President Trump and then America in general, I think it was one of those things when we said we should have it under control. Is one of those things you have to say because you don't want it to become a panic. Like, I don't know what a president is supposed to say in one of those situations. Like, is he supposed to say, like, be prepared to go into quarantine in your house right now when we have no confirmation whether or not we have people infected? Or do you say, we're working the hardest we can to react to this virus, but at this point in time? Because it really, I get what the incubation time is for the disease. I think it's like 5 days or something like that.
Yeah, it's quite some time.
Yeah, you have to be in contact for 5 days, but then you consider the amount of people we have coming into America, and then also the amount of people we have in different countries all across the world. Honestly, it just seems like it was bound to happen, especially if it's this kind of infectious disease that flew under the radar for such a long time in China.
I think for me, I'm a little bit I don't think that we could have done much better than we did, even as we do now, because it's one of those things that it's just so potent when it comes to spreading that honestly, really, what are you going to do? Quarantine every single person that comes to the country, and then it slows everything down and everything's going to get hurt by that. I think it's just kind of one of those things that's just bound to happen because we have so many people in so many places, and it's unfortunate reality, but I think that's what's going on. I think that what we could have done better, though, is make sure that people's responses were measured, that they understood what was going on and the actual threat of it. I know a ton of people that are like homers of this is the end. I've got other people that are like, this is absolutely nothing. You got to find that spot on the spectrum and be informing people that where that is, because honestly, for me as an American, I'm more scared of the response to the virus than I am the actual virus.
Mm-hmm. And
it's interesting to see how everybody has just lost their mind. People are rushing to stores and buying up all the waters. The price of hand sanitizers shoots up to like $200 for a big bottle of it. It is insane how these people are just there's people taking advantage, of course, which is those people marking up those things. But the rest of the people are just so scared that they're going to rush and get all this crazy supplies. I mean, it's always good to be prepared, but sometimes, you're taking it a little too far. Now, Sandoval, me and Ben, we don't have any cases in our city. It's in our state and whatnot, but you actually have cases in your city. What are the differences between when this became public and before that? What are the different things you've noticed so far?
Really, I haven't noticed a whole change of anything. So I live in San Antonio, and they have been bringing people for quarantine to one of the Air Force bases here in San Antonio. And people heard that, and of course, you go on social media and people are making jokes, or for San Antonio is the first to fall. But then also my parents who I live with, they were also super concerned about it. So they did go and buy try to buy the disinfectant wipes and whatnot, and they couldn't find any of the hand sanitizer. So they bought the Clorox, the disinfected wipes and all that good stuff. And to me, literally nothing has changed, because it's not like I go out every single day and see people with masks, because I feel like at this point, people are just saying, okay, it looks like we have it contained. And until they tell us otherwise, we're just going to continue our day-to-day lives without a worry in the world, because, people got to live their life. And I think a lot of people don't like living their life in fear.
Yeah.
So there really hasn't been a whole lot of change. And I think there's only I can't remember the number, but it's 19 people in the military base who are confirmed to have it. But then they also let out a lady who had it, and she went to the mall. And then, that was a whole thing. But then
it was a great decision.
Yeah. But hey, it happens. And then, there hasn't been any new confirmed cases here in San Antonio. So, maybe that was just a little scared. Nothing actually happened. Or maybe 2 weeks down the line, we figure out, she got 50 people infected in the mall.
Oh, yikes.
That'd be scary. But at the same time, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it was a little scare, but everything's under control. At least I hope.
Yeah, hopefully they come up with a cure sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've read, it's going to be at least a year and a half till they get a vaccine. So that's going to take a long time. But I think they're just trying to figure out what medicine works the best on defeating this strain of this virus. I don't know. Personally, I'm freaked out a little bit. Not too worried about it, because of course I'm a healthy young kid, so I'm not too worried. But it is just creepy seeing how everyone's panicking and they're going crazy, and all these poor elderly people are at such risk. It's a stressful time for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alrighty, now to a little bit more lighthearted conversations here. Ben, tell me, what's next on the agenda?
Dude, I'll tell you. So last week during the Voiced Opinion podcast, we spent most of the podcast talking about Dungeons and Dragons, which is a role-playing game where basically you're hanging out with your friends and you're going through a story. Basically, you play a character, you roll a dice to see how successful you are at things. It's a really cool game. Basically, that's what we were talking about last week. So me and Jacob were on it because JSB was sick, but not with the coronavirus. He was just sick. So we were talking about, what our favorite D&D moments were. And so we went through a lot of our like actual like funniest things that have happened during D&D, but we went into perspective. Like, what was some of your favorite things? Because for a little backstory, us three have all played together in the same group for a while now, which is like a year and a half or something like that. So yeah. So I think we have a lot of the same stories, but go for it.
Yeah.
So my character was the most evil, horrible person ever made. And it's so much fun to play a villain. It's honestly, because you get so into it, you just try to think of the most mean and evil, twisted things to do. But my favorite parts of D&D were just doing these little things here to piss everyone off and to, kind of throw the whole session off, where we have to go chase a completely different objective because I did something to screw us all over. One of my favorite ones was you, Sandoval, the Dragonborn, your character.
Yes, sir.
He made friends with this bartender at a hotel we were staying at, right? Yeah. We're resting up there, and he was good friends with him. So when we were all down in the bar, I snuck off to the bathroom and used the Crown of Thorns spell from my wizard abilities, and I took complete control over your body, Sandoval. I made you kill your friend.
Yep. So the backstory between me and this bartender in D&D terms is, this bartender was wearing a cowboy hat. I saw this cowboy hat and had to get me one. So I ran down to the leather shop and bought me a cowboy hat. And then I came back to show it off, and lo and behold, I get mind controlled and kill the guy I wanted to impress with my cowboy hat. And it was extremely sad for me, because once I came to, there lay in front of me a dead friend with a cowboy hat. And luckily, I was able to revive him because paladins have a little something called lay on hands. And then also, I think it was some lady helped us too, or his mother or something like that. It was something weird.
Yeah, threw my scheme off.
Yeah. And then at the end of it, the guy didn't like me after I saved his life. Well, after I killed him and then saved his life.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
They arrested us, didn't they? They somehow figured out that I did it.
We went to jail for it.
Yeah, you guys got arrested and then you got kicked out of the really nice hotel. So I don't know if you guys remember, that hotel was like super nice.
Oh, yeah.
You guys got kicked out.
I just had to go and ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
man.
we were getting free food at that hotel, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the hookups.
Until Jay's speech, I had to kill the guy who owned that place. Classic.
I think my favorite session, though, was when we went, it was a Halloween session, and we all went to this like creepy haunted mansion, and there was a lot of spooky stuff going on, a lot of crazy monsters. And that was just a lot of fun to play through because just the atmosphere was perfect. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed that. Was just such a fun session to get really, really into the spooky stuff. Because as you guys probably know by now, I love spooky stuff. So more spooky stuff, the better, my friends. Yeah. Never enough.
Anybody out there who wants to play D&D should definitely play D&D with music in the background. Find a DM who knows how to DJ some D&D music, and then your life will be set. That's all you need in life. A DM who plays D&D music in the background, give you that ambience and that world creating kind of feel when you play
it. Did you guys tell them about the basilisk head incident?
Yep.
We did. What was your perspective on that story?
Oh my Lord. Now, it was just so perfect how everything fell in line, because I didn't think I was going to kill him. That wasn't my intention at all. But when I was trying to brag to him, show him, oh, look what I killed, this basilisk. So I take it out of my bag and it just turns him to stone. And I remember you made me roll for it. And somehow it was a really hard roll, and I pulled it off and I froze him. It was
it.
incredible.
That was a disaster.
That was one of my favorite, like if I was to take my favorite hour of ever running a Dungeons and Dragons game, that might have been it right there. At first I was like, what? Because a basilisk in D&D, what it does is if you look in its eyes, it's like a gorgon, like Medusa, basically. It turns you to stone. So they had killed one earlier in the campaign, and so he cut off the head and he brought it to this really nice general who was helping like take them show them what to do. He's basically hiring them. And JSB's character, he decided he wanted him dead, or at least inadvertently he killed him. But immediately after that, remember Victoria and you guys all found like the secret, basically, cage that they had back there.
Yeah, the prison.
Yeah, so there's like a small prison room that you guys weren't supposed to really interact with for probably 4 or 5 more sessions that had one of the 2 main bad guys in it. And then that bad guy convinced Victoria to let him out and bite her.
And then she like offered him to bite her again.
Yeah.
She didn't get cursed the first time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is
You're right.
That was wonderful. And then we had Bartolo and his Fast and Bulbous character.
Fast and Bulbous.
That was
well, his character's name was Alex Smith, and he would always just run around saying Fast and Bulbous, and then making a lot of Alex Smith references. Alex Jones, not Alex Smith. Yeah. Alex Jones references.
They're turning the frogs gay.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
My lord. What did you guys say that your favorite session was?
Favorite session. I can't remember.
I don't think we said a favorite session. Let's see what would mine be.
The like moon sessions were pretty sick.
Yeah, like the ones that I've run or the ones that I've like played
from that story.
Oh, from that story specifically.
Yeah.
Honestly, the one with you killing the general, and then if you remember, all the werewolves like descended on your fort and you had to fight off the werewolves. And during that fight, Victoria let the main bad guy out, let the bishop out, who was like one of the main werewolves. I thought that was one of my favorites just to run.
That was good. Because
in D&D, whenever you're running the game, I was the dungeon master for it. It's the most fun whenever your players understand that you might die. It's like a really scary situation. So I love it.
I think my favorite session, I think it would have to be I can't remember exactly, but it's either the first or second session where everybody, I think we were all pretty cohesive as a unit, because that was also when we had Ryan playing with us, right?
Oh yeah, Ryan was playing.
Yeah,
he kept you all on track.
We were all kind of crazy, but we kept on track. We didn't have any big distractions because, you know, JSB hadn't gotten whack at that point. He hadn't gotten kill happy at that point. We were all doing what we needed to do, and I think those were some fun sessions. And then, you know, the whole thing about JSB's character, the whole Vizon character, was like me trying to play my character and trying to keep him in the party was one of the hardest things. Like I had to convince myself to do, because that just happens when you have what was it? Were you chaotic evil or were you neutral evil?
I was lawful evil.
Lawful evil. There you go. But then I
changed from that.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt like you're chaotic evil.
Yeah, I probably should have been.
Yeah. But no, my character being lawful good, and like it was a time where he killed some poor potions lady, and I realized he had killed him. Then like for my character, it would make sense that I would just, if I'm lawful good, I would just ban him from the group. But
yeah, turn me in.
As you know, in D&D, like you want to keep the group together because you're all friends playing around the table. But then it was like time and time again, you just do something crazy and evil, and my character would have to deal with it. But then at the very end, well, not at the very end, but towards the end, I just got rid of his character.
I was so heartbroken.
You did.
I wanted to cry.
Yeah, so Jacob finally made the decision that he didn't like JSB's character at the end, and he stabbed him in the back and killed him. And there's this
I have no idea how I survived so long.
No, I don't either. But I've got this classic song that I play whenever a character dies in a session that I'm running. I was playing it, and JSB got so emotional when his character died, and that's how I knew that campaign was going well, because he actually cared when his guy died.
We had been through so much. But I love that. I love the part that I was a warlock, so I had a little demon friend.
Yeah.
Fennerak. That was fun too. Trying to sneak away from the group so I can talk to him without being caught. It was good times.
Yeah.
Having to do these evil things for the demon.
Yeah, that was a really fun campaign. Yeah, he did die.
Rest in peace, Fennerak. But Vizon didn't. He survived till the end. He died and then he came back.
He died and then came back because at the end of that campaign, it was whack. Because at the very end, like the bad guys ended up winning because of the choices of one of the characters. Like changed their mind at the last second and started fighting for the bad guys. And all of a sudden, it just switched on a dime in that one moment that it actually would have mattered that she flipped. And the villains ended up winning that whole campaign. So really, that whole campaign was about the story of Vizon, and then what was her character's name? Fatishira. That was it.
Fatishira.
Yeah.
I felt like the whole campaign was that love story and that story. Yeah. Unfortunate for the rest of the players, but they were just kind of side characters in the overall plot, if you look at it.
Yeah.
It's like the end to Avengers Infinity War.
Everyone else died. So I actually ran a one shot in that same universe for JSB and a couple of his friends. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Like 3 years in the future. And that was really cool to like go back to it. That was a really interesting campaign. But the one that I'm working on now and that we're doing is a lot more straightforward and a lot more interesting. So that hopefully that one will be a little bit more conventional because that other one was
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens in it. It's going to be good.
Yeah, we're off to a pretty good start. So I love it.
So the point of this conversation is play D&D. It's incredible.
It's awesome.
Best. It's honestly, from my time in college, those nights are probably my favorite college experiences that I'll probably look back forever and remember playing D&D all those times. It was that good.
Dude, it was D&D and Brawl Night.
Yeah, Brawl Night.
The times at the Sandoval House.
No, the Sam.
Yeah, at the Sandoval House.
Good times.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this interesting thought of a thing we could discuss, right? We all are really into pop culture. We all have our favorite genres. We have our favorite movies, franchises, and everything. So I thought maybe we should discuss who our personal favorite fictional character is and why. I think it's going to be interesting seeing our different choices and the type of characters they are and kind of where they came from and where you learned about them. So let's have this discussion, guys. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Mine's a little bit out of the box. So just to confirm, this is basically any fictional character, right?
Yes.
Okay. So have either of you guys seen the show Arrested Development before?
Yes.
If you have, you'll know what I'm talking about. You have to see it. It's so funny. So the whole show is about this rich family that gets their money taken away, and their father gets put in prison for like insider trading, and they end up finding out that he's building houses in Iraq and all this stuff. But so the oldest brother, his name is Job. So he's a magician, and so his actual name is George Oscar Bluth, but he shortened it to G-O-B, so it's Gob, but he pronounces it Job. So he's this terrible magician and just a terrible guy, and he rides around on his what are those things called?
Mopeds?
No, it's the
Segway?
Mall cop. Yeah, Segway. Yeah, he rides around on a Segway with he straps a fanny pack to the front of it that says GOB on it. So he's always riding around and being stupid. And he's like, he gets in these situations. I've been watching that show again with my brother. He's never seen it. So we've been watching through it. There's this whole plot that we watched a couple days ago where Job is dating this girl. And this is a spoiler alert for like middle of the first season, but I'm not going to be that worried about spoiling it because the show is in 2003. So in the middle of the first season, there's this character named Marta who Job is dating. And so Job's brother is trying to date her as well. And so they're trying to find out. So basically she's Spanish. And so she was talking to her mom about how she was falling in love with hermano, which of course in Spanish, means brother. But Job is so stupid and didn't understand that. And so there's this whole episode where he's going around trying to find out who hermano is. And so he like goes to the set because she's like an actress or something like that, goes to the set and is like, now who's hermano? And then the guy at the front points to his brother. And then he goes over to that guy and it's like, are you hermano? And that guy points back to the guy who pointed in there. So he's just like running around like an idiot the whole time. But he kills me with this one line that he says. He's talking with his brother on the phone and he goes, what does he say? It's like, sounds good, mon frere. That means brother in French. I don't know what brother means in Spanish because I took 4 years of it. Oh, whatever. He like hangs up the phone. But he's just like this really stupid character that's like doing magic tricks and being a moron. I love it. Man, and Will Arnett is the guy who played him. Will Arnett's just one of my favorites. So
he's good. He's really good.
Comedy. Cracks me up every time he's on the screen.
I'm gonna have to watch that show because I haven't seen it yet.
You do. We need to do a watch party because it's so funny.
All right, Sandoval, who do you got?
So, favorite fictional character for me of all time has to be the Joker from The Dark Knight.
Oh, I'm with you. That's a good one. Really? That's a good one.
Because I think that was one of the first evil characters that I was super invested in and super interested in. And to tell you the truth, if he would have beat Batman, I would have been okay with it.
He kind of did. He survived and got away in the end.
Well, but that was the whole thing with the Joker and Batman is, it's a whole cat and mouse game, Tom and Jerry, where, Joker always wants to kill the Batman, but he can never do it. And the Batman, his thing is he just wants to stop the Joker, doesn't want to kill the Batman. But, like his whole thing was trying to break the Batman by forcing Batman to kill him. But then Batman wouldn't do it. So the Joker lost. But no,
I think he won because he did the thing with Harvey Dent in that movie. Do you remember?
Well, no. Yeah.
Amazing. He corrupted him and turned him into a villain.
Yeah. But then also he was trying to turn all those people on the boats into villains.
Oh, yeah. That didn't work out.
Didn't work out. But the whole Harvey Dent thing, it was absolute corruption. But also, getting half your body burned kind of takes a toll on you mentally. So
yeah, and having your girlfriend get blown up.
Oh yeah, that was nasty. But no, the Heath Ledger's Joker is a very intriguing character, and there's just like his craziness is just so interesting to me that. It just puts him over the top when it comes to like great characters.
Yeah, he's definitely one that'll stand the test of time, especially in comic book movies and comic book fandom. Because I know people who hate DC but love Marvel, but they'll still go out and say that guy was an amazing character because it's not a superhero movie, kind of like how the Joker isn't a superhero movie. It's way deeper than they usually are. So I definitely agree with your choice there. It is an amazing character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm going to pick something. Not a lot of you guys probably know about him. It's really nerdy, and he's probably been my favorite character since like 2007, I'd say. And this character has been around since 1984. And it's the Decepticon Air Commander, Starscream. He is such of an amazing character. It's someone who started off as from a really crappy 80s cartoon that was just made to sell toys to kids. Basically a big commercial, which all the Transformers stuff is still a commercial for him, obviously. But has lasted all that time from here and is still one of, I would say there's probably 4 Transformers that everybody knows about. Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Megatron, and Starscream. Just because in the show from the 80s, none of the other Transformers really had much of a personality. Sure, they had all their gimmicks and they looked different, they sounded different, but the personalities were very, very slim from that show. But Starscream, he had motivation. He was trying to betray Megatron, defeat him, and become the leader himself. Now, of course, he failed all the time. He was really bad at it. And he was a huge coward. Anytime Megatron would try to get him back, he would beg for forgiveness and pledge his loyalty, which again, the next episode, he would just try to betray him again. And the cycle continued on. But ever since then, the people who make the Transformers content has taken that character trait and twisted it so many different times and made him so many different characters throughout the different iterations. And in all of them, he has this undying motivation. He thirsts for power so much and he'd do anything to get it. And I don't know. I just think the character is such a fun, evil, conniving character. He's pure evil. It's great. Definitely a big inspiration for Vizon. But yeah, it's super good. Of course, in the actual movies that Michael Bay made, he doesn't have a character at all. He is just a, standing next to Megatron type character, which angered me a lot. But I don't know. It's still cool to see him on the TV.
Yeah, and if I remember from the first one, after they defeat Megatron, it seemed like they're setting up something big with Starscream because you see him going off into space, and that was the after credit scene, and you thought oh snap, we're gonna get this guy coming back being the top boss, but then they're just no, we need more Megatron.
Yeah, let's just bring him back from the dead 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
My Lord. And the way they killed him in the 3rd movie, the freaking Shia LaBeouf killed him. I was so mad.
Shia LaBeouf.
Angry as heck.
Hey, but they don't call him Buff for no reason.
Ooh. But my favorite iteration of the character, there's been so many different versions, but it's from the IDW Publishing's Transformers comics. Now, these comics take place after all the war and everything between the Autobots and the Decepticons, and it's basically nobody won, and they all just moved back to Cybertron and tried to restart everything and try to rebuild a broken civilization, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Starscream survived the war, so he's there, and he was in the right place at the right time, and some crazy thing happened with this giant old Transformer, and it made it look like Starscream was the chosen one. So he became a politician and somehow became the leader of Cybertron, of the entire planet. And that's what he wanted the whole time. And it just following his crazy schemes to to stay in power, all the corrupt, shady dealings he did. And actually, it's interesting because throughout the series, he actually started turning to a good guy and respecting his position and authority. And at the end of the comic run, he actually gave up the role to the good character from the stories and everything. But it was interesting because those comics really took these basic characters and added so much depth and character building to it. And I absolutely love it. If anybody likes to read comics out there, I 100% recommend the IDW Transformers series because it is such a great comic series. But yep, that's my favorite character, Starscream.
Pretty good picks. If all three of our characters fought, mine would die.
Yeah,
you're right. Dude, it's funny.
Just a magician.
Ben went with the funny guy, and me and JSB both went with villains. You know,
if you were to ask me my favorite villain, it would be Hans Landa from Inglourious Basterds, but he'd also die in this fictional fight. So rip.
Villains are just so much more interesting than heroes a lot of the times. They have better motivations. They got better designs. They always look way cooler.
Well, and I think it might be one of those things where, like, we look at it and we are puzzled by their motivations and we want to try to understand their motivations. So we just tend to focus more on them because the hero is going to hero. Like, that's all the motivation we need to, like, understand why hero is doing anything. Like, he believes it's the right thing to do. Whereas a villain, like Thanos, he wanted to save everybody from low resources. And then the Joker, he just wanted to see everything burn. But then it's still like, why would he want to do that? Like, what happened to him? And we don't really get a clear-cut answer from the Heath Ledger Joker. Because, you know, his backstory is a mystery. And that's a lot of comic book Jokers, and including, like, TV series Jokers. Like, their backstories are so jumbled up and mixed up that, like, it's just a mystery about where the Joker actually came from.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
Yeah, it's just so much more interesting to follow a villain in their never-ending quest to destroy good and take over the world, because that's every villain's hopes and dreams. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our favorite show of our show. It's our favorite show in the show, our segment. And that's the classic fake news segment where one of us is going to offer 3 news stories and we have to pick which one isn't real and which ones are. So today, I believe, Mr. Sandoval, do you have some stories for me in the casing?
Mm-hmm. I got some true stories and I got one fake one. It's up to you guys to figure it out. Are you guys ready?
I already know what the fake one is, but yeah.
Oh, dang, man. So confident. Always confident.
I'm ready.
You're going to get duped, my friend.
All right.
But me, I'm the master. I'll know it.
All right. So first story today is going to be kind of kicking it back to the coronavirus. You know, this story is about a family who almost got away with taking 600 rolls of toilet paper in preparation to coronavirus. So the article title says almost steals 600 rolls, but turns out it was a miscommunication. So this family went online. They did one of those, I forgot which app they used, but it's a grocery store delivery app, like Walmart delivery or whatever, Amazon delivery. But they put in the app 60 rolls of toilet paper. Like, that's what they typed out. But then the people saw 60 rolls as 60 packages.
Oh,
so
God.
They were putting 60 10 packs into the back of the truck and took it to this family. But they still charged them for the only 60 rolls. So, yeah.
That's too stupid to not be real.
So they take it to this resident's home in this big old truck, and the family saw it. They're like, "Are you sure this is our order?" And they say, "Yeah."
Toilet paper.
They kept on pulling it out, but they got things figured out, and they took a picture of it all and posted it on Instagram. And it was like one of these hilarious things where, hey, look at all this toilet paper that showed up at a house. And of course, they sent it all back, besides the 60 rolls they needed.
What a good citizen.
Yeah.
I bet there's a lot of people that got like 60 packs, though.
60? That's a lot of
I feel like people have done that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Not an overwhelming majority or anything, but like if like Doomsday Preparation, if Doomsday Preparation's a bell curve, it would be like the last like 1 or 2% on it. But I think people have. I wouldn't be surprised if people have.
You know, you might be right.
Yeah.
But then, anyways, next story. All right, this story is kind of sad, kind of funny. It's up for you two guys to decide. It's about a pigeon. Have you guys heard a story about a pigeon lately?
I saw the Will Smith movie with a pigeon in it.
Oh, really?
Actually, was that good?
It was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Now I got to go see it. All right. But anyways, back to the story. So a pigeon, technically story about two pigeons. There's a pigeon spotted in Nevada wearing a cowboy hat. A couple weeks later, there's another pigeon wearing a sombrero hat in Nevada. You know, this was caught on camera, but then this news report came out about how the pigeon in the cowboy hat died. And so they said they released a statement saying, you know, it's all good and fun that you're doing all this stuff with these pigeons, but you know, it is inhumane. If you've seen this other one with a sombrero, you need to contact us so we could take that sombrero off. Because, like...
Wait, how did it die from having a cowboy hat on?
It didn't exactly say. They just said...
They just shake it off.
Yeah.
Or are we talking about it was wearing a full-size hat and it was stuck? And
I think it was a little tiny cowboy hat, and I think they had it like the pictures you can't really see because it's like far away. Because get that close to a pigeon, it's probably gonna fly away. But it looked like it was pretty on there, like it must have had a string or like some kind of elastic clip. But that's why they think it died, is because you know it had something that it wasn't supposed to have around its neck.
Break its neck? Is that
no, not break. No. Like, let's say the hat gets tangled up in a tree and it flaps all it can, and then it hangs itself. I don't know how it died, Ben. The article just said it found it dead.
Huh.
And so now they're looking for the sombrero wearing pigeon to take off the sombrero and save his life. And they're telling people not to do it anymore.
Don't do it anymore.
Guys, I think we're going to have to do that.
No, don't do that. Or are you talking about find the sombrero pigeon? We can find
putting hats on pigeons.
No, we can't do that. That's inhumane.
It takes some skill to catch one.
Did you not listen to the article?
I don't understand how it died in the first place.
It doesn't explain how it dies, man.
That's the real mystery.
Did it get caught in a shootout at with a local street tough? What are those things called? In a saloon? Is that how it died?
Or maybe him and the one with the sombrero met up had a duel to the death.
At high noon.
Yeah. But yeah.
They're trying to poop on each other.
Yikes. Right. But yeah. That's that story. Now on to the last story. And honestly, I think I heard this story somewhere and I looked it up and it is real. Ben might have done this story the other day too. But even if he did, oh well. But there was a Kansas man who asked a judge to allow him to fight his wife with swords.
I did not hear this one.
My God.
So, this is the thing. This Kansas man went to court, asking the judge, you know, I want to fight my ex-wife with swords because they have this whole custody thing going on. Oh. And the reasoning behind this is because there is no laws against resolving a dispute on the field of battle.
Yeah.
And
in Kansas?
In Kansas. And then also, there's been nothing to, I forget, what was the exact wording? The wording was that something around the lines of, you know, like it's I forget what it's called. It's something where it's like combat,
trial by combat,
something like that. Like to resolve an issue was still in the law. And
interesting.
Because
that sounds real to me.
Yeah. Did you know in Texas they have something similar to that where if you and another party consent to fight, you can fight?
Yeah.
I love that law.
That's great.
That should be a law everywhere.
Yeah.
Because I would be fighting people all day.
Yeah.
Well, to death.
Dude, I wouldn't consent to fighting you, man. I just quit.
I know I'm scary, Ben, but you have to.
No, I wouldn't consent.
Well, boys, those are the 3 stories. What do you guys think?
Give me a quick rundown, like a 1-sentence summary of each one.
Just 600 rolls on accident.
Yep.
Pigeon. Hats dead. Kansas. Judge fight wife ex. Sword.
Kansas judge ex-wife fight sword.
Yes.
That's how you create fake news.
That's an album cover right there. That's an album name.
You just take pieces of the story and just put them on the paper in a single word.
I love it.
Kansas judge ex-wife fight swords. I love it. Okay, so here's my logic right now. I think that the pigeon one, you had a lot of detail. I don't think that Jacob Sandoval would have made up Nevada as the fictional place that would have been done at. So I think that one's true. I also think that the last one is true because I know Kansas has really relaxed laws when it comes to those things. I've heard some sort of a story about that before, but not this one. But I've heard something else, something to do with, like, I think they actually wanted to have a duel or something like that with actual guns. So I'm going to say that the first one is fake news because I don't think that, hot take, all the rolls that you were saying, you said, what was it, 60 rolls? I don't think that's that much, like the 60 packs. I think people are getting that already. So I think that is the fake news. That's my thoughts.
People are getting 60 packs of 10 packs?
I think people are. Like the very far, like I said, like the very far end of the bell curve.
All right. Well, that would make sense because they delivered it.
Mm-hmm. They weren't like, this has to be a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think,
Interesting
JSP?
take, Mr. Ben. I have to go with the bird hats. I think that's just a little too good to be true. As much as I wish that would have happened, I just don't. I have a feeling it didn't. Now, all of them were really good and really hard to pick. But man, I gotta go with the bird one. If this is real, then I'm going to start putting hats on birds. And they'll call me the Menace of Pueblo.
Don't put hats on the birds. Don't put hats on the birds.
Breaking news. Menace of Pueblo strikes again. We've had 3 dead pigeons so far, all wearing the same kind of hat, a sombrero. But no, the fake news is actually the family who bought 600 rolls.
No way.
Yep. So that was a combination of stories. There's a story about how these young people in China stole 600 rolls, but then there's also a family in Australia who accidentally bought 2,300 rolls of toilet paper.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's a fake news story. The pigeon one is absolutely true. The thing is, it was Las Vegas, Nevada that it was going on. So that's why I should have said Las Vegas because it would have made more sense.
That does make more sense. Yeah. See, I thought you were talking about like rural Nevada.
Yeah, just
like, you were talking about
Nevada.
Reno. We were chilling in Reno, and you saw a pigeon with a hat, and I was like,
what the heck?
No, it happened. It was going down. That one's true. The Kansas one, absolutely true. Man trying to challenge his wife to a sword fight.
Well, who won?
They didn't. It didn't go through. The court said, "You know what? You can figure out these civil disputes other ways.
Do a thumb wrestle."
And I think it's one of those things like both parties to consent as well.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
They did it in Black Panther.
Good point.
Dude, Black Panther rules.
Black Panther, quality movie.
Great movie.
Black Panther, mediocre movie.
Oh, come on.
But
Hey,
this is
getting blinded by your hate right here. You're getting blinded by your hate for Disney.
I don't know. I just thought it was pretty mediocre.
Name one bad character in that movie.
T'Challa was pretty boring in it.
What? He was not.
I mean, Black Panther?
He just died.
Yeah, he's talking about Black Panther.
Black Panther is boring in Black Panther.
Yeah.
What?
That has to be an oxymoron or something.
That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah. No.
No, really.
Movie.
What did he do in it besides die?
He had the sick fight scene at the very beginning where he takes out people in the dark, and then he has this funny thing when he says, "I never freeze."
Yeah, and a lot of the movies about him like trying to decide whether it's worth going with like tradition or going with the new way. I thought that was really interesting. Interesting thing he's thinking about the whole movie.
He goes to that black neighborhood at the end. He's a good guy.
Maybe it just flew over my head.
Were they building a school there? I forget what the whole point of them going to that city was.
Yeah, like an embassy or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be the embassy. So these poor black people can look at these rich white people.
That's my favorite. Well, that was an interesting little debate there.
Yeah. I like it.
Speaking of debates, we got the rant of the day.
Guys, I'm going to come out and say it. I don't have a rant of the day.
What?
I got nothing, guys. I got nothing. There's nothing I'm upset with.
You've had that good of a week.
It's been a good week.
You're not mad at coronavirus?
Who cares? Corona who? That's what I say.
Wow, those are bold claims.
Wow. Huh. Well, now I feel bad for having a rant of the day ready.
Well, I'll go next. I usually don't go second, but I got some fire to spew.
He's got work to do. Get on it.
So, my rant of the day has to do with retail stores and their uncleanliness. Now, this isn't the store's fault. I work at a retail store, so I see this front and center. But there are people who go to the stores and shop that just leave their trash, their half-drinking Starbucks drinks, their half-drinking Burger King drinks, or empty wrappers on the shelves of these aisles in the store. When there are literally trash cans all over the place with big signs showing that it's a trash can. So then I have to go pick up their trash and throw them away like I'm their mother. Like, really? What? Do these people get off by leaving trash around? It drives me insane. And one time I saw the little punk do it. Oh, I almost went up and said, "Throw this away, you little shit." But I was a good worker and I kept my composure. But man, if you pay attention to next time you go to a store, you're going to start seeing all those empty cups just lying around on the shelves. What a disgrace to the United States of America. And what a disgrace to this human population. People like that brought coronavirus to this world.
Dude, every time I go to a retail store, that's when I clean out my car. I just bring it inside and leave it.
Ben, if I see you do that, I will literally slash your tires while you're driving.
That does not scare me. My car is terrible anyway.
You're already prepared to die in it.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, that was my rant. It wasn't as in-depth as usual, but, it angers me very much. Now, Ben, tell me what your rant is.
You see, now that's a logical rant. My rant has to do with a video game that I picked up again a couple days ago. And so I know it's not like a real video game when it comes to like people who play video games all the time. It's MLB The Show. It's the MLB video games, the MLB The Show 17. I've gotten back on 18. That's what I'm on. I've gotten back to playing it this week because I had a little bit of free time this weekend. And let me just go ahead and say, it just makes me so frustrated in that game. It so much has to do with the computer deciding luck, because the way it works is whenever you're hitting specifically, you've got this little circle that you control with your left stick before the pitch comes in, and you move that circle around to where you think the pitch is coming, and you can move it while the pitch comes. And you're not going to be able to hit the ball if you don't have the ball come through that circle, right? So basically, it's really hard to hit the ball well, especially if the other pitcher's doing a good job of throwing the ball not right down the middle and stuff like that. But the thing is with the game, I've gotten a lot better at getting that like actually on it. But then the game will arbitrarily decide balls I hit well are pop-ups. So in baseball, pop-up is basically just a waste of an out. I'd rather strike out than pop out, because if I strike out, at least I make the pitcher throw like 6 or 7 pitches. It's just stupid. So it just does that to me all the time. And then on the other side, whenever I pitch, I throw a pitch that's really well done, like right in the corners and stuff like that, and the computer will hit a home run off of it. And I know what the hitting is like because I'm hitting with that circle. That means that they must have had their circle completely set in the bottom right, left corner, and they would have physically not been able to hit any other pitch besides that pitch. And they were just perfectly waiting for my perfect pitch right then that was out of the strike zone. Stupid. That game is just stupid. It's a waste of time. But I played a couple of games of it, and I had a really good time besides that stuff going on.
It's a stupid waste of time that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a pro gamer myself, there's so many games that does stuff like that, and it just makes me so mad because they're not rewarding your skill.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
punishing you. And I applaud you, Ben. I beg you, never buy another sports game in your life.
What?
It'll bring nothing but misery and sorrow.
I love Madden. Madden is
and you
like
get
that.
bullied for it. You get bullied.
Do I really?
Yeah,
Oh.
people see you playing Madden and they think less of you. And I don't want people thinking less of you, Ben.
Oh, okay. Dope. Does that include PGA Tour Golf 20, please? Please no. Please no.
You can
Don't
play
say
the
that.
mini golf, but not the real golf. Those mini golf games are fun.
Deal. These sports games, I don't know why I like them so much, but yeah, I enjoy them.
I guess it's kind of cool to do like fantasy matchups and
Yeah.
pick who
You see-
wins.
The Rangers are a team that I really like. I have to have like some sort of a world where the Rangers are actually good. So, yeah.
Rest in peace, Rangers, once again.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our show for the week. You were listening to Off the Air Productions on The Voiced Opinion, and we are so glad that you spent your time here fighting off the coronavirus with us. I believe I may have fallen to it. Soon it will spread to Ben. I will send an email package to Sandoval to give it to him. And just like that, the Voiced Opinion became the Corona Opinion.
Oh no. It's Corona time.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of the night, and thank you for listening.